Today I'll be talking about Harriet Tubman and the impact of on the American history. And the general purpose would be to talk about Tubman's work and life journey. After listening to my presentation, my listeners will comprehend Tubman's life story, her operation to the termination of slavery, and the impact on the American history. Today I would like to share with you this important story of the woman who vanished slavery, turned into a conductor of the Underground Railroad, and who battled for the freedom of many enslaved African Americans. Her name is Harriet Tubman. As a noticeable historian figure, Harriet's life has been considerably studied and documented. I will be using esteemed sources to be able to talk about such an important figure. Harriet Tubman's life expedition is a testimony of her determination, strength, and courage. Within her work on her argument for women's suffrage and Underground Railroad, she left behind a memorable mark on the American history. As we consider Harriet Tubman's life, we are emphasized by the power of each one's actions and the significance of battling for justice and one's equality. Today, we will transverse two dominant characteristics of Tubman's life: her work on the Underground Railroad, and as well as her escape from slavery, which demonstrated encouragement uh, for herself, her own heritage, and women's suffrage. Harriet Tubman's escape from slavery and the work she did on the Underground Railroad demonstrated her cleverness and bravery. As stated by PBS, Tubman got away from slavery in 1849 in Maryland by using the Underground Railroad to adventure the freedom in Philadelphia. To continue, the National Museum of the American History and Culture records that she went back to the South several times, putting at risk her own life to assist hundreds of enslaved people for them to reach freedom. The next article declares that her work within the Underground Railroad gained her the surname Moses, and then she formed into a legendary figure for the American history. As extraordinary as her work on the Underground Railroad was, Tubman's donation to the American society expanded far on the far side of her escape from slavery. Harriet's argument for the women's suffrage and her inheritance showed her dedication to justice and equality. The National Park Service remarks that Tubman's worked nearly with important suffragists Anthony Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. to uphold women's right to vote. The National Women's History Museum argues that Tubman's argument for the women's suffrage was innovative as she was one of the countable African American women to be part of the movements during the late 19th century. Lastly, from last article, they reflect on Harriet Tubman's heritage being expanded for far ahead of her own lifetime, being an inspiration for the generations of feminist leaders, civil rights activists, and even so people like me who hear over her story. In conclusion, Tubman's life expansion is a testament of her dedication and strength over fighting for justice and equality for all. We have gone over two of the important key ideas of her life, which was the Underground Railroad and her escape from slavery, attached to her support from the women's suffrage. Her legacy acts as a powerful remembrance of standing up for what is right and to even do it in the face of hardship. As we bounce back on Harriet Tubman's life, we should be remembered on her conviction and courage for the dedication she gave to fight for a more equal society.